Yeah, for sure. So looking back, and I've asked a few other of our guests this, but what do you feel like you maybe needed in your life when you made your abortion decision? Do you think it could have been maybe it was a supportive friend or a church to turn to, or maybe knowing what a pregnancy center was? I know a lot of people just didn't know back then, what they are now, or but have you ever thought about, man, if I would have had that, I might not have made that decision?
All of the above, to be honest. I think that had a mobile ultrasound unit been parked outside of that abortion clinic and they offered me a free ultrasound, it would have changed everything. I knew in my mind what the outcome of a pregnancy was. I'm already a mother to two, remember, when I had an abortion. But it was easy to convince me because the two people that wanted me to go through with it were saying all the things that they knew would convince me to do it. But I think what have changed everything is had I confided in someone that said, you don't have to do this. I'll help you. I'll do whatever I have to. Had I known about pregnancy resource centers, which I did not at the time, I think it would have made all the difference. I loved my children. I used to get in fights and arguments with friends of mine that were having abortion as birth control. And then here I was pregnant and going to do the same thing that some of my friends had already done, that really made me angry at them, because what that helped me do was empathize with the situation they were in. And I didn't understand their mentality until I was in that place of feeling hopeless and helpless, and who's going to help me? And so there are so many things that could have changed my mind. I truly believe that, but the bottom line is God knew that I was going to go through with it, and he has taken what the enemy meant for evil and turned it into good. And I am convinced in my 23-year career, I have spoken through social media, through live streams of one video out there of my testimony that I think has 13 or 14 million views. I can tell you that thousands of babies I know live today because my baby died.
Wow. That is a powerful statement, and it's so true. There is something about us being bold and sharing our story, and especially stories of our past abortions, and how it is a trauma, and the lie that Planned Parenthood puts out there. Like, even the fact that they're like, think of this no more. We had another guest that we just interviewed, and she said that they said the exact same thing to her. When you said that, I was like, that's weird. Like,
you guys, I've interviewed. I wrote a book called "They Lied to Us," and in the book, I could have, with all the women I interviewed throughout my research before I wrote the book, I can't tell you how many said the same thing. They literally teach them the same terminology throughout the country, so they're very consistent with what they say. A blob of tissue, a clump of cells. Like removing a tumor, you will be fine. You can go out tonight. I mean, I didn't get into my whole experience that day because of time, but my experience that day, when I look back, was traumatizing. Yeah. And whenever she was so kind to me on the phone, the woman at the abortion clinic, to secure my appointment and to make sure she had me where she needed me, when I went and met her that day and gave her my $350 cash, that's how much my baby's life was worth. She looked at me as soon as she took the money, after being so kind and compassionate, and said, if you change your mind, you don't get your money back. So when you're on the table, if you change your mind, don't come in here and ask me for your money back. We don't give refunds. So they use the same terminology, and then they treat you in there like you're just it's like a slaughterhouse, literally. It's a slaughterhouse. And they want you in and out, in and out, in and out. And so it's the truth. So with the women I interviewed for my book, they had the same similar stories. With the women that I've gone through my Reassemble After Abortion Recovery retreat, same stories. And these women have never met each other. They share their stories, and they're so shocked by how similar their stories are and the lies they were told. And that's why my book's called They Lied to Us.